Hello, hello, resellers. This is episode number 248 of eBay the Right Way. Today's date is December 17th, 2025. My guest today is Kelsey in Kansas. No announcements, so away we go.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I have Kelsey with us today. Um, and how are you doing this crazy busy Monday?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking.
Is everybody well in your house now? Didn't you have some
Uh,
sick ones?
yes, I did have some sick ones. Tis the season for everything when you have kids in school. So
Right.
I had two out of my three who were sick, and they're doing much better now. So
Okay, good.
everybody's at school today.
Okay, and where are you located?
So I am from Kansas, Cortland, Kansas, to be exact. It's a small town of less than 300 people.
Oh, that is small.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it doesn't seem to be affecting your ability to find things to sell.
No, I've been doing eBay since 2016, and I do sell on other platforms as well, but eBay's the longest one. And living rurally, you're used to traveling, so any opportunity that we travel is also an opportunity to find items. So, yeah,
Great. Good. I want to start off by asking you about the Christmas tree.
sure.
Where did you find that treasure?
Oh, okay. So I found it at an auction, um, and it was in October. Yes, October. And it's about this auction house is about 40 minutes from my home, and I travel to several throughout the month, depending on what they have and what they're selling. And of course, a lot of them put pictures up on websites or Facebook anymore. And I've sold a couple aluminum trees before, but I saw the picture of that one and it was just in the box and it was just the picture of the box. And I told my husband, I said, I want to go see what it is. And we got there and I saw it. And if you know about the aluminum Christmas trees, it all depends on what they are, how many branches they have, how tall they are, and they do come in different colors. The most sought after ones are gold. The most common is the silver.
Mm-hmm.
This was a silver one, and it was all in the box, and the box was kind of messed up. But I started counting the limbs inside the box, and I thought, oh boy, I knew I had hit jackpot. So I got it at an auction. And a little funny story, I looked at it and I went back to where my husband was standing and I told him, I said, don't panic when I start bidding. I promise I know what I'm doing. And um, so I paid $270 for it. And as you saw, I sold it for just under 1,500.
Excellent. Very good.
I knew it was a good tree because of the height that was on the box, and it had over 100 branches. The more branches you have, the more valuable they are. And it was a whole process of my husband and my daughter and I putting this tree up to make sure everything was there, to take the pictures, get the lighting right. And of course, it had the color wheel. And that color wheel actually didn't come with the tree. I already had that
Oh,
from in storage from a year ago, probably in my death pile. And I knew if I was going to sell this tree, it should have color wheel with it.
mm-hmm.
And so I put them together, took the pictures, made sure it looked fantastic, organized all the limbs by size. So when they got to the customer, it was easy for them to put together. And it was so hard to sell that tree. I
Oh,
love
you
it.
wanted to keep it.
Yes, I wanted to keep it. And it was just a really great find and a really great sale. So,
Yeah, very good. I mean, it wasn't easy though. You had to figure out all the branches and set it up and not be afraid to bid on it.
yes, it takes a lot of work, and I've been doing this since 2016, and I've been on your Facebook page actually probably since about 2017, 2018.
Yeah, you've been on there a while.
Uh-huh. And when I just started dipping my toes back into eBay after my divorce, I really just watched everybody else and all their commentary and all their suggestions and the research people put into items. And the only reason I knew about aluminum Christmas trees is because another seller had shared, years ago. And yeah, it does take some dedication. I think the whole process of my family and I organizing the limbs, putting the trunk and everything together, and taking them out one by one out of the limb sleeves, doing pictures, organizing them all back. I think it took us an hour and a half. And it was with 3 of us. And it's just because I wanted really good quality pictures because I knew it was going to be a quality sale.
So the child that helped you, did they get a little bonus out of the sale?
She doesn't know yet, but it's coming.
Oh, she doesn't know it's sold?
Oh, no, she did know it's, all the kids know that it's sold. And they know what I sold it for, but she doesn't know what part of the gift of helping is we're saving it for Christmas.
Oh, that's great. Okay, good. Yeah, 100 branches. That's quite a project.
Yeah, this one I believe had 156. Yeah. It was a lot.
Grief. I don't even want to think about putting that together. So was it shipped or local pickup?
It was shipped. So I shipped it from Kansas to Alabama. I put the box all together with all the parts inside of it. I make sure I label all the parts and put them in separate bags so they can't get lost inside of a box. And then I put the box of the tree and of the color light end to end. I wrapped both boxes in foam sheeting, and then I wrapped them in a contractor bag, the really heavy duty contractor bags, because it's like basically a really big poly mailer.
Right.
And taped it up. Accurate measurements, as always, are really important, so that the buyer pays accurate shipping,
right,
and doesn't delay in the shipping process. And I dropped it off at my local post office, and away it went.
Was this auction or buy it now?
Buy it now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I very rarely do auction. I just find it easier to do buy it now. That's just my personal preference.
Right. Okay. So it was full asking price, not a best offer?
Correct. Yes.
Very good. Well, that was amazing. When I saw that, I'm like, good for you.
Thank you.
We kind of skipped over the part in my excitement of hearing about this Christmas tree. We skipped over the part about what got you into eBay, what got you started.
Sure. So my mom has always been a reseller of a different form. When I was a kid, my mom would go to garage sales and to auctions and buy a bunch of stuff. And then once or twice a year, she would rent out the local school gymnasium and have a massive just sale. And everybody in our small community would come because they knew how big her sales would be.
Mm-hmm.
So later on in my life, right after high school, my mom started a brick and mortar business. And she had things in there. And when you live small town, sometimes you just don't have a lot of foot traffic in. And I'd say, Mom, online's kicking off. You should put some of the stuff online. You should try selling it. She didn't want to mess with it. Don't tell her I said this, but older generation doesn't like, necessarily. I
Oh,
should
this has always worked. I'm just going to keep doing it. Yep.
Yeah,
I know some don't embrace
yeah,
technology or new
yeah,
ways. It's just this works and it
yeah,
can be overwhelming, all the
yeah,
online stuff. Yeah.
yeah. My mom does not care for technology, so I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. So
Mm.
I actually wrote down in my notes the first sale I ever made on eBay was a pair of Americana salt and pepper shakers,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she had $8 on them in the store. And I put them on eBay for $24 and they sold within 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
I was hooked.
Mm-hmm.
So I dabbled in it for a year, had a baby, and then was going through some life changes and needed a way to make money and raise my child. So I started buying a little bit more of what I could afford and selling it on eBay. And did that on the side some while trying to keep a full-time job and raise, my child. And fast forward a couple of years, I got divorced and I went from being a stay-at-home who did eBay minutely to being a full-time mom who needed an income.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just dove headfirst into eBay and didn't look back. Um, eBay put me through college. I went back to school.
Good for you.
Thank you. And for a trade, I went back to college for a trade. And eBay took care of me the whole way, took care of me and my two boys, and, gave me the flexibility to raise my kids. And in there somewhere, I took a break for about 9 months after college because I, was just under a lot of stress and weight. And but that's the one good thing about eBay. It's waiting for you when you come back.
Right. It's going to be there.
Yep. So, and then after college, I did a business under my trade for a couple of years, and I got remarried and added a child to the family. So we're a blended family of 5.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband's work takes a lot of dedication and consumes a lot of time. So that left me to take care of the kids, mostly full time. So I closed my other business from my trade and said, we're going back to eBay and we're doing it full time. I haven't seen any financial dip in the transition.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. Thank you. So,
Well, I guess selling, buying things for 300 and selling them for 1,500 is
yes.
is a great thing.
It does help. And I wasn't that, that was something I learned along the way. And I'm not sure if it was in your eBay Facebook group or another one, but I had another sale that I was looking at buying something and I posted in the group and said, what do you guys, what do the other members think? I can't remember what his name is, but he was really prominent in the group. And he commented on it and said, don't be afraid to spend big money on quality goods.
Mm-hmm.
If you've done your research, you know this item is going to sell, you know you're going to have a great return. Don't be afraid to spend the money. That item actually happened to be my biggest sale I've ever had on eBay, and it was for $3,000.
What was the item?
It was an electric line thrashing machine. So yeah, I didn't know what it was either. And actually, it was on an online auction, and I like to have really good relationships with my auctioneers, with businesses that I go to find items. And the auctioneer reached out to me and said, "Hey, I think you need to take a look at this. It's worth some money." And he sent me a picture of this metal tube looking thing. And I was like, what in the heck? So I did some Google research and was like, what the heck? It's a type of mechanism that helps them string the telephone line cables. And people buy them used. they cost tens of thousands of dollars to buy them new.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it on the auction for $200 and sold it for $3,000. Yep.
How long did it take to sell?
I believe that sold in less than a month. It's been a couple years since I sold it. That happened right after my divorce. So
what a nice gift from the universe. Here
yeah,
you go.
it was a really big blessing. Yeah. And like at that time, right after my life change, I didn't have any money. I was broke as a joke, as they say. And $200 was a lot to me. That was the difference between paying my electric bill, or am I going to sit on this item? But I had done my research and I was confident that this would sell, and it did. And so I was very happy with that.
I love those stories. It's just, it works out for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very good. Well, I don't have a $3,000 sale in my history, so.
Well, I do want to say too, you don't always focus on the big things. When you got bills to pay and kids to feed, the $20 sales add up just as well. And you're thankful for those, those big stories when they come along, because I was able to put that money in savings, and it was part of what got me through college. But I'm thankful for every 10, 20, $50 item that I sell. It allows me to be able to stay at home with my kids, and I don't have to worry about calling in sick or snow days, because in Kansas we do get snow.
Yeah, you do. You had a big one come through there recently, didn't you?
Yeah, we had about 5 inches, and which doesn't seem like very much, but it closed school for a day, and I sat on my couch with my kids working on eBay.
I love it. Yeah, that's one perk I enjoyed when my kids were little. It was get up in the morning, get them off to school, work on my eBay, do housework, laundry, whatever. They'd come home from school, do their activities. They're in bed by 8:30. I got 3 more hours I can work on my store. And that was when I was only doing the reselling. I wasn't doing all the other stuff I do, but you can pick it up several times during the day, even 30 minutes just to list a couple things. You have your to be photographed pile, you have your stuff that has been photographed, and you just figure out how to work it in between everything.
Yeah.
And that was very convenient. You can't do that with a job outside the home where you've got to go and be there and be away from your kids and figure out daycare or babysitting. And, by the time you pay for the daycare or the babysitting, it's like whatever you earned is used up.
Yes. That was a huge reason why I was a stay-at-home the first time I was married, is because a lot of people chuckle at me saying daycare then costs $500 a month, and that's about the same it is here now. But when you live as rurally as we do, that's a lot of money. And so if I went to work, 8 years ago, that was my whole paycheck,
Right.
So now it's as easy as we're going to a ball game for my junior high kid this afternoon. My husband will drive and I'll work on eBay on the way. I've taken pictures. I'm ready to list on my phone. We just appreciate that I'm able to take it with me anywhere.
Yeah, it's very portable that way. There's always something you can be doing on your phone when you are sitting in the waiting room at the dentist's office. And oh my gosh, the orthodontist, I feel like I lived there. Both kids had braces like back to back. So it was about 4 years of appointments all the time. And just, there's always something you can be doing on your phone, whether it's researching or just get on the group and look at what people are selling.
Yes.
Because sometimes you don't want to just sit there and zone out in the waiting room. You can be doing something.
Yeah. Use it to your advantage.
Right. So do you get most of your items from these local auctions?
I would say auctions is probably only about a quarter of where I get my items. Um, Local thrift stores are a huge way that I get items, and I have a calendar of who's open, what days, and what times, and I'm making my rounds through the week. If I have an appointment and I'm going to that town, my kids know we're going to the thrift store.
Well, and that's a good point as far as coordinating, because you can't just assume like all the stores are open from 9 to 9.
Right.
These little stores that are independently owned. We had one near us. It was a church store, and they had some good things in there. I know I mention this all the time, but the church stores, they just kind of, the ladies in there just like to have something to do, and they don't really look up the prices. They just, well, let's put $5 on it, whatever. So we would like to go there a lot, my daughter and I. And I think one time she went and she came right back home and she's like, well, they were closed. And I'm like, why? And she's like, well, there was a note on the door that Steve had a dentist appointment. So we had to close the store. So you just never know. Like, get up there, Joe's gone fishing, closed today.
I love it.
I mean, that's probably what you're running into.
Yeah, there's 4 that are within 30 minutes of me, and one of them is ran by the community. It's actually multiple churches, and each church takes a weekend, so they're only open Friday, Saturdays, and it's a different church group every weekend. That helps maintain that one. There's one in a little town that might have 100 people, and it's one little elder lady who runs that one, and they have volunteers who come in every once in a while. The one in the decent sized town close to me is owned by an individual, and she's just amazing. Something I want to share about is I'm not naturally an extrovert, but just to always be kind, to people that you're buying from. And while I don't advertise, openly what I do, as a stay at home also, they know what I do. And so I always just try to be kind and considerate of, they want to make their money. I want to make my money, because we're all in this together, but I'm not against a good bargain either. So,
well, and I love what you said about just be kind to people. You don't know what's happened to them in their life. I saw a graphic on Facebook the other day, and it was all these people sitting in traffic, and the one guy who's got the road rage and he's all mad, and then all the people around him, they had little thought bubbles above their heads, and it was like, this his dog died today. This person just found out she has cancer, or whatever it was that. You don't know what's going on with people, and maybe sometimes they're rude or sometimes they're short with you, but I always go back to that. Like, I've had bad days like that where I've gotten terrible news, and it's just nice when strangers are kind to you.
That's right.
And it's free. It's just be kind to people, and not even that it's going to come back to you. Just, you don't know what they've been through that day or that week.
Yes. It's just to take a second and, remember that you don't know what somebody else is living. I tell my kids as they run out the door to the bus every morning, be kind to someone today. Take a second and be kind and generous if you're able to. When I'm at the thrift store or even out just sourcing anywhere, the one in the town closest to me, she's older than me. She's about my mother's age, and it's just her and another elder lady working that store. If I see somebody pull up with a truckload, I'm helping her unload it. I'll say, hey,
nice.
Do you want help? And she'll say, if you don't mind, I'm helping her. I want those really good relationships with people that I buy from. So that's a huge source to me, is that. And then during the garage sale season is what I call it. We live, like I said, rather rurally. So the bigger cities to us are 2 hours away. And I'll go up with a truck and trailer for the weekend.
Oh, good.
And that's one way I source is
Do
to
you stay with friends or get a cheap motel or an Airbnb, or how do you do that?
I've done both hotels and Airbnbs. Don't have too many friends in the cities that we go to. It also depends on how much we go through in a day. You know, if we've got a truck full, we're coming back the first day. Because we don't have a place to keep it, you know, if we were to go a second day.
Well, and you make your trip count when you live out like that. I've lived rurally several times in my life, and it's like you figure out, okay, all the things you need to do. I'm gonna drop by here and get this thing and get an oil change and while you're out. So you don't have to make all these trips.
Especially we're going to Sam's Club while we're there.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're 2 hours away, then you're gonna, you know, okay, we got to stay overnight. We didn't get enough stuff. We got to hit it again tomorrow.
Yep.
And that's on my bucket list is trips like that. Now I'm in a different place. You know, I'm closer to Virginia now. I could go up into Virginia and some of those. Who is it? It's Carlos, the mailman. He lives in a very affluent area of Virginia. I'm going to go visit Carlos. Or
Love
just,
that.
you know, Janine Joyce, she lives in Virginia. And I've had a lot of invitations to come see people. And at some point, I'm going to put it all together and make road trips and make like a big circle, you know, and have a van or something like that. I do a lot of smalls. You know, people even do that and ship the stuff back to themselves. So if they don't have a huge vehicle, they can pack up some boxes and go to the UPS store or the post office and just mail it back. You posted a few things on the group last week that were just outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've done the starburst mid-century.
Yes, the clock.
Yes.
Oh, people had eBay envy on that one. They're like, where'd she find it? How'd she pack it? Why didn't she keep it?
Yeah.
What was it, like a $500 sale?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
It was just under 600. And another situation of my husband helped me. I've sold one before several years ago. And I've gotten wiser and smarter since then. The starburst clocks come apart and you can take the tines off of them and take them apart. And my husband helped me do that. We bought it and it was all together at an auction. And it was another situation of plug your ears while I'm bidding. Please don't panic.
It's like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yes.
How high are we going to bid on this? It's going to be okay.
Yep. And I gave, I think it was $130 for that. And I sold it for $500-600. And as soon as it sells, when I buy big stuff like that or high dollar items, I hand it to my husband and say, please go put it in the truck and lock it. And we had all three of our children with us that day. And he said, well, how are we going to get it home? And I said, you're going to take it apart. And he goes, oh, great. So he was out there in the parking lot taking the screws off the back and took it apart. And then we got it home and I said, okay, now you get to put it back together so that we can
take pictures of it. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
well, you got to do what you got to do to make what? $400 profit on that?
Yeah. And I think in transit from when we bought it and he took it apart then to bringing it home, we lost one of the screws.
Oh, no.
For the back bolt part, not the bolt, the nuts. We lost the nut for the screw head.
Okay.
And so my husband had to go in the lumberyard store, to find just the right size because it was small. And he helps me a lot. So that was a memorable sale. And it's one of those things where Another piece of advice I would have is you see what other people sell things for, and it might not be the exact same style because there's a lot of different style of starburst clocks out there. Some of them have the actual sun flame, some of them have metal, some are just wood. This was a really well-known brand. It was an Elgin clock.
Yep.
And it wasn't as common because it had metal and wood for the tines of the starburst. And it had a really good face on it. The clock hands were in really great shape. So I had seen some others sell, and they were in the lesser 200 to 300 range. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put my hook out there and see if I can get a big fish because I knew what I had. I've done the research. I've sold one before.
Yeah, and they're not making those anymore. So,
nope. And, and, you know, people who have money spend money. And so just because I wouldn't spend $500-600 on a clock doesn't mean that somebody else won't. So
that is our customer.
That's right.
So when, just as a side note for the listeners, when you have these beautiful vintage rare items that have survived all these years and they look great, and you get, so you probably had what, 600 on it for the buy it now, and you know you get $100 offer, don't be insulted. This is not your customer. You want the person in the New York apartment that owns half the block and decorates their home with rare, beautiful items that they love.
Yes.
That's our customer.
That's right.
So, I mean, I fight this all the time with people. Oh, you got a lowball offer. How could they do that? How could they? Because that's their way of life. That's how they do things. And they're doing it to everybody, not just you.
Yeah, so, that's true.
That's the one I wait for. What did I sell the other day? I sold a little baby doll, like a Carter's with a rattle in it. It was just, I got it for $25, and I'd had it in my store for over 2 years. It's a little doll, like my first doll or something. And this lady, she offered $10 for it. And she's like, oh, my daughter had this one. She's grown now, and we don't know what happened to it. And I would love to give her this for Christmas. And she wanted it shipped to a different address or something. There was a lot of things going on. And okay, $10 sale, big whoop. But you know what? She left me the greatest feedback. The seller worked with me on this. I'm so happy to have found this. You know, it made 2 people happy. And that's the people I want to work with. So when you get those, you probably got some lowball offers on that clock.
I did. I think I had one come in at like 200 and one on just under 3. And I really love the vintage look. I love good quality items. So if I don't sell it for what I'm asking for it, I'm just going to keep it.
Right. Yeah.
I did have that one boxed up because as soon as I took the pictures, you know, I packaged it and got it ready to ship out because I knew it was going to be.
I do that too. It's like, I'm going to go ahead and pack this up because when it sells, I don't want to have to deal with it. It's safe. It's put away in a safe place. You know, if the box falls off the shelf, it's packed well. It's not going to break.
Yeah, my toddler's not going to find those nuts that my husband had to go get. So I did that. Talking about working with customers, I have this one memorable sale, and I don't know the name of it, but it's stone, and it's these jewelry boxes that have very Victorian scenes on them. It's usually like blue stone, and it has the scene in white.
Okay.
Kind of looks like marble, but it's not. And I had this jewelry box listed for probably $100, and I'd had it for a while. And I had a lady message me and say, I bought one of these from somebody else and they did not package it well. And it broke in shipping. And she said, would you take $75 and guarantee that this item's going to get to, it was somewhere on the East Coast, Pennsylvania, probably, I think. And I said, sure, I can absolutely do that. I do need to adjust the shipping a little bit more though, because since we want to absolutely guarantee, I'm going to wrap this like it's going to go through a bomb.
Right.
It's going to add weight to this item. and she didn't mind. She just appreciated that I even responded to her, number one.
Right.
Number two, that I was willing to work with her. And so I wrapped it with the best care that I absolutely could, boxed it 2 or 3 times, and away it went. And she got it, and she gave me the best review. And she sent me a message saying that, she just really appreciated that I would go above and beyond for her. Those are the ones that just, make it worth continuing to do eBay. I've sold an oil lamp, the oil rain lamps.
Oh, yes.
From the ceiling. I found one new in the box at an estate sale a couple years ago. And of course, that was a higher dollar item too.
Well, and I didn't even know what those were until somebody put it on the group. I want to say it was Bill Hunt, but I don't know. He sells a lot of lamps. I can't recall. It was a guy, and it was like had these Greek goddesses on it, and the rain part. Does it move with the light, or is it just reflective of the light?
No, it actually moves. So there is a motor in the bottom of the basin. So the top and bottom have a cone shape, and in the bottom of the basin of the bottom cone is where the oil goes, and you put it in there, and the motor sucks it up through the side tube,
right? Yeah,
of the spindle, and the oil drops down, and it drops down in that rain effect on the fishing line. So I found one new in the box. I did not test it. I've sold others before, and I had the stuff to test them to make sure that they work. But since this one was new in box with original packaging, the goddess wasn't even out of her plastic.
Oh gosh.
And the plastic that was actually around the lamp itself had disintegrated. It was so old. And so, I had to clean the box out and vacuum that all out and everything. But I took really good pictures, showing that it was unused. Goddess was still in her original plastic. So was the greenery. And I had a woman message me asking if I would take a little less, because I think I had it listed for $500. And she asked if I'd do like $425, because her grandmother had the same exact thing, and they wanted to get it for their mother for Christmas, and all the kids were going in on it.
Mm-hmm.
And another, can you ship it really well? And it's a yes, I will. And so it went out, got a great feedback, and just love that story of making somebody's moment and memory. And my mailman appreciates it too. That's something else I wanted to share was, since I live rurally, I don't live in town. I live in the country, actually. And I use USPS a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I put things at my mailbox and put the flag up, and he picks them up. He is the best mailman on the planet. I just appreciate him a lot, because he has never once complained about my packages. In fact, a couple months ago, we thought we might be moving into town, and he said, "You can't move into town. You have to stay on the rural route," because they operate by how many packages they have on the route, that or compensated, or, their pay and stuff like that with the government service. So he said, "You can't take your packages off of the route." And
it's kind of a curious thing about the mail carriers, because when I lived in my house for 16 years, we had a Lamar who was the nicest mailman. And, I would put my stuff out at the mailbox so he didn't have to come all the way up to the door or anything. And, some days I would have a lot, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's so much." And he's like, "No, this is job security."
Yes.
This is job security. When it would rain, I would raise the garage door and put the packages in there. He could just back the truck up. And then some of these carriers in the apartment complexes, well, the routes are shared. You have different people all the time. You never know what time they're coming. And they wouldn't even come up to my third floor apartment and get my stuff sometimes. They would just skip me. And so I called the postmaster, and I was like, "I don't understand what I'm doing wrong that these packages aren't getting picked up." And he says, "It's not you, it's the carrier. She just doesn't like to climb stairs." I said, "Well, how can that work when you have a pickup, because that's something the post office provides.
Yeah.
You got to
And you're
stand by
paying
what
for it.
you got to stand by what you're doing. I think she eventually got fired because she was doing that too much. Can't be lazy and be a mail carrier or
No, you
deliverer.
cannot. That's
And
why
and
I
then
appreciate ours.
yeah, and then I got a new person on that third floor apartment and try it again, put my packages out there, picks them up, no problem. And he would bring me anything I was having shipped to me instead of putting it out at the mail center where I
Wow.
have to go out there and get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thanked him for that one day. I'm like, thank you for bringing my stuff up here. I really appreciate that. And he
Yeah.
says, why wouldn't I? I said, well, because none of the people before you did it. And he goes, we get paid extra to do that. So
Well, sign
I
me up.
guess the lazy one just didn't care about the money. She just wasn't. Well, then don't put her on a route where she has to do that.
Yeah.
Put her in a neighborhood where it's all flat. You don't have to go up and down stairs. But yeah, it's
Mhm.
always an interesting situation when you move to a new place. Like, how's the mail carrier going to be? What's going
Yes.
to happen here? But yeah, the rural ones are very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're lucky on that.
Yeah. We've been very blessed with him. Uh, and I've lived at this house for 10 years on and off, and he's always been the same guy. He had a health crisis about a month and a half ago. And the only reason I figured out what had happened is because I noticed it was a different mail carrier. And of course, we know everybody around here. So I
Mm-hmm.
stopped and talked to him and said, hey, where's the mailman? And he goes, well, this is what happened. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, he had a severe heart issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually, my mailman's birthday was yesterday. And I commented on the Facebook post and said, we are so glad that you're still with us,
Mm-hmm.
to serve us every day. And he's just the best. He always pets my dog when he does the route, if he's out. And sometimes if we have snow or rain, I'll text him and say, hey, I've got several, and I'll wait for him and take him out when he gets here. When it snowed, I had him in the van and
Yeah,
said, just open the back hatch. They're right there.
absolutely. That's a great solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really great. So always being thankful for them, because they help eBay go round.
Absolutely. And that's part of the fun of this job is yeah, we work at home, we're self-employed, but we get to interact with all kinds of people that are involved in the business, whether it's the thrift store ladies or your mail carrier or the guy at the hardware store.
Yeah.
Hey, I need to fix this broken thing. I need a thingamabob. Do you have one?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've had to do that.
When I first started, I was really hesitant to tell people what I did, especially being in a small rural area. Some people don't like, resellers,
Mm-hmm.
and don't appreciate, that I can buy it for $5 and sell it for $50. But as I've grown in the business, I've learned that those relationships are good to have, and most people in your area aren't your customer.
Mm-hmm.
My people from my small town aren't my ideal customer. Not that I don't love and appreciate them, because I do sell in other ways. I do love and appreciate my community, but they aren't my customer. So I'm out here doing me, doing eBay. I had somebody one time, I shared something on Facebook, and they commented saying, eBay sellers don't pay taxes. And I was like, responsible ones do. And, I might be a stay at home who's reselling, but I'm contributing to county taxes and state taxes, on my tax forms.
Well,
So,
you have to report the income if you're going to take the write-offs. You can't do it one and not the other.
that's
You've got to
right.
show the income and then, all your home business deductions and stuff. So, which there are plenty of sellers out there that don't report it, but look at your whole financial picture and all the stuff you can write off to keep that adjusted gross income lower on your
Right.
taxes. But then if you want to go get a loan or a mortgage or something, you got to plan ahead to make your income
Yeah.
maybe don't take all the deductions so your income is a little higher so that
Right.
you can qualify. It's a two-way street on that. But
Get you a
yeah,
really good CPA.
I love that people assume that eBay sellers don't pay taxes because you want to hear
Yeah.
me go on a rant, you're going to hear that.
And then I had another lady say eBay still exists. And I'm like, yeah, it really does. You know, I mean, yeah, it just cracked me up.
I mean,
She
it's a household word. It's in movies. It's on TV shows. I mean, come on,
yeah.
where have you been?
Yeah, it used to be, on TV back when I was a kid, shop eBay and, the whole internet craze of when you'd send a check, in the mail. And now it's more automated. And I guess, everybody just knows Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, eBay exists and it's actually really great. You should check it out. And so I just advocate for it a lot more than I used to. And tell people, even locally, check out what I've got. If you like what you see, great. If you don't, just keep scrolling. Maybe you'll
Right.
find somebody
Exactly.
else's store that you like
Yeah.
better.
And you mentioned being hesitant to tell people what you did when you started. I was too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because I didn't want other people getting into selling around
Oh,
me.
yes.
I thought, this is the greatest thing in the world. I can't let people know. They're all going to want to do it.
Yeah.
They're all going to be out there getting all the stuff. And no, that was totally not it. When I started helping people, because at first they criticized you, like, why would you want to do that? Why do you want to go in these dirty thrift stores and buy all this stuff? And I'm like, because I can.
Yeah.
I don't have to put on, work clothes and go to work for somebody else. I can do this
right.
for myself. And then a couple years later, they're like, so tell me more about that thing you do with eBay. And that's why I got into the mentoring side, is because everyone was asking me.
Yeah.
And then they find out how much work it is. And now you don't get paid immediately. My 3 siblings, no interest in this. They're like, yeah, I just like going to work and getting a paycheck. And I mean, this is sort of like the thrill of gambling, but it's legal.
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot of guts to walk in there and pay $300 for something, knowing that you can flip it for 5 times that much. I mean, that is a gutsy move to people who aren't involved in reselling and just don't get it.
Yeah. My best friend, love her. She's a stay-at-home mom also, and she's 8 years older than me. And, I'll tell her about my eBay victories. And she'll be like, maybe I need to get into it. Maybe I need to do it. And I go, that's a really personal choice. If you want to get into this, I can give you some tips and some tricks and some advice, but you got to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people get discouraged when they realize how much work it is, especially if you do it right. Part of why I joined your Facebook group is eBay the Right Way.
Yay.
And because there is a right and a wrong way to ship things. We should not be shipping in Stouffer's food boxes.
Oh, I saw on a group the other day, somebody received something that was in a cereal box.
Mm-hmm.
And one person's like, well, okay, I get that. They could have at least turned it inside out, so you didn't know it was a cereal box until it was opened. But there's a lot of wrong ways out there.
And not that I haven't done some of those wrong ways. When I first started, I did some wrong ways. I did, wasn't shipping like I should have been.
Well, like a lot of it's based on ignorance. They just don't know any better.
Yes.
People, I think people are inherently good, and you have that small percentage of bad apples that just are going to manipulate the system. And that's the minority. I just think people kind of jump in and they just don't know.
Yeah. And when you said that, not everybody, you were worried about everybody and their neighbor wanting to do eBay, and that there might not be enough for us all to go around. There's enough.
Yes, there is.
There's enough with the amount of consume, that just the United States has every year. We are a consumer society. And so there is enough to go around. There's enough grandmas and
Well,
estate
and that's the
sales.
thing is the baby boomers were the generation of consumption and shopping, and that's where it all got started.
Right.
After the war, and we were all prosperous again. Well, I wasn't born yet, so I shouldn't say we, but we Americans. But speaking to the being afraid of people encroaching on your territory, I was new and naive. I didn't know. I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world, this shiny new thing where you can work as much as you want, and the income is unlimited. And I just thought, oh, all these people are going to want to do this. But even now, when like I go to senior day when I can, and the stores are full because that's their social event, but they're not buying the same stuff I'm buying. Right. They're buying all the little knick-knacky things and the cute. I mean, you can tell their basket's full of their shopping cart is full of artificial flowers and tablecloths and just stuff for their house. They're not looking for what I'm looking for.
Yep. And not everybody, your niche isn't going to be the same as everybody else's.
Right.
When I first got started, I bought anything and everything I thought I could make $1 on. I mean, I was buying glassware. It makes me shudder thinking about it. People who do glassware, I love you. I appreciate you. You go get them. It's not Kelsey.
That's what I say on senior day. Y'all take all that glass. I'm not interested in doing that. I mean, I do look through it because you might find a really nice Murano something in there that flip through. And I look because also people put things down in the wrong place. They don't put it back where they got it. Yeah. So I find some good treasures like somebody had this in their cart and now they don't want it. So you got to look at everything.
My bucket list item, one of them is a glassy baby. I'm waiting for a glassy baby. Yeah. Uh-huh. And out in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, hoping for a glass baby. But, other people's niche isn't going to be the same as yours. When I go to auctions, I know who's there for comic. I know who's there for Army. I know who's there for history. I'm the girl who does vintage decor. I sell in other ways, so I'll buy bigger items, even furniture, to, gain some revenue that way. Not everybody's niche is yours. Let them have it if they're after it. If it's not in your lane, be kind and just, think of others too. One thing I have delved into is somebody on the Money Making Monday for $100 sales shared about books and a book set that they sold. And I have found that is a niche I do enjoy. And I'm dipping my pinky toe in it just a little bit because I'm not a professional by any means. But I have found some really good return on books too. That's just a growth area for me of, now I know if I see certain sets or certain authors, there's a little bit of money in that, So it's just continually a growing process.
And that is a great tip to end on, is you constantly evolve in this business.
Yes.
So I like your advice about or whoever's advice it was about, don't be afraid to spend some big money on things that you can flip for way big money.
Right.
And that comes with time because you have to build up your confidence that, okay, I know this. I know I can flip it for this. And after a while, it's not scary anymore. It's just like desensitizing yourself against something you're afraid of. You just keep doing it a little bit more and a little bit more. And pretty soon you're not afraid anymore. Like Kevin in Home Alone.
Do you hear me? I'm not afraid anymore.
Yeah. This is, when people ask about if pricing something is too much, and I'll research it and look real quick. And usually my response is, you can't catch a big fish if you don't use big bait.
Right. Right. You gotta put yourself out there. And I mean, worst case scenario, you can sell it for what you bought it for.
Right.
At least. You maybe you won't make hundreds of or $1,000, but that's my go-to in my head when I'm like, oh gosh, this is a little expensive. But you know what? I'm going to try it, and I can at least sell it for what I bought it for and learn that lesson and move on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, you said you've got a sports event this afternoon to go to?
I do, yes. My daughter has basketball.
Basketball. Okay. Well, at least that's indoors.
Yes, it is.
What's your weather like there today?
Today, I think we have a high of 34 with winds around 15 miles an hour. So it probably feels in the 20s.
Well,
it's cold.
You're going inside. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking the time out of your busy mom schedule to talk with us. And I really enjoyed hearing about your business and especially those Christmas trees. I got to start looking for those now. I keep seeing them pop up and they sell all year.
Yeah. Christmas sells all year long. There's
Absolutely.
another tip for you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks again. It was great to meet you. And I wish you all the best in your business.
Thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate it so much.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next week, my guest is Kathy, who is a repeat offender and was last on the podcast in April of 2022. She and her husband are retired and do eBay on the side, and they also travel in their RV and work eBay sourcing into their trips. We had a fun time catching up, so make sure you tune in to hear from Kathy. Thank you all for listening. Make it a great week on eBay, and don't forget to take some time for yourself, if possible, during this busy and maybe stressful time of year. Talk to you next week. Bye, everybody.